guys, we might need to delete social media. We might need to. Arsenal are top of the league, and Arsenal are going to win the Premier League this season, aren't they? Manchester City just aren't there. Liverpool aren't there. I mean, the fact that Manchester United are on the same amount of points as Manchester City, despite harder fixtures, says a lot. Despite the fact that Bournemouth is second, 4 points behind Arsenal, despite losing 3 out of 4 of their backline. The fact that Sunderland, the newly promoted side, is 5 points behind Arsenal. Arsenal are so clear of everyone right now. That's 5 clean sheets in a row for Arsenal. 3 goals conceded all season. You can't get near a team that is conceding 0.3 goals a game and is literally impossible to score against. You know, even if Arsenal aren't at their best, they just don't lose. The only game Arsenal have lost this season is because Szoboszlai took the most insane 3-kick ever. This is a 1 in a million. This team is impossible to beat. It is horrifying. I'm scared they're going to win the league. I generally think this is their year because City aren't at their best. Liverpool aren't at their best. I'm a Man United fan. We've got a long way to go, but we're up there right now. I don't know how long we'll be up there for. But this is ridiculous. I mean, Arsenal have conceded 3 goals in 9 Premier League games and 0 shots on target conceded in 3 games in a row. Arsenal's defence is going to win them the league. Arsenal's defence is a literal joke. It is going to win them the league. And I don't even think Saliba's been at his best this season. I think it's the Gabriel show. I think right now Gabriel is the best defender in the world. And I'm saying this as a Manchester United fan that has a very strong dislike to Arsenal. Probably because I grew up in Essex, so I knew a lot of Arsenal fans. But I have a very strong dislike to Arsenal. But this is why Arsenal are different. This is why I think Arsenal are going to win the league. They are 1-0 down to Newcastle. When they've been 1-0 down to Newcastle in the past, they've been done out. The Carabao Cup, they've been done out. Newcastle's a bogey team for them. They won that game 2-1 in the dying moments through Gabriel. Olympiacos, low block, 2-0 win. West Ham, new manager bounce, low block, 2-0 win. Fulham, really difficult low block, 1-0 win. Atletico smashes them out the park. Big game, smashes them out the park. Crystal Palace, probably the hardest game they've had this season if you're looking at the low block, 1-0 win. You know, it wasn't the most amazing performance versus Crystal Palace. I don't think Arsenal played their best stuff. I think Arsenal played their best football at the start of the second half with Palace tired. But last season, Arsenal drew 0-0 to Palace. Last season, Arsenal probably draw 0-0 to Fulham. You know, last season, Arsenal probably don't find that winner versus Newcastle. Arsenal have got players like Eze, and Eze scores that goal. Eze is a player that can produce something in the moment, and Eze scores a fantastic goal, and that's why Arsenal got 3 points today. You know, Arsenal have got players now in Eze, in Gyökeres, in Saka that will just produce. Now, I know Gyökeres hasn't produced a lot lately, but you know what I mean. 1-0 versus Fulham, 1-0 versus Palace. Arsenal might not be scoring loads and creating loads of chances, but they're not conceding. All they need to do is score 1. Because Liverpool are conceding 2 goals a game. Liverpool are going to score 3 goals a game. Arsenal only need to score 1 because they know they're not going to concede. And if they do concede, they go and find a way last minute. These games, a lot of these games, Arsenal would not have won last season. What stopped Arsenal last season was the depth, and it was the not winning these games. They've now sorted out their depth because Mosquera can come off for Saliba and you don't notice a difference. Hinkeby comes on, looks great. They've now sorted out depth, and they're winning these games. So Arsenal are at the very best. This is the very best. I remember seeing Arsenal because when Arsenal were at their very best, I was so young. This is the best I've seen Arsenal in a while. And I don't think you play the best football. I don't think you play the most exciting football. I think it's very defensive. It's very clean sheets. I don't think you create loads of chances, but you don't need to. We keep slandering Arsenal for scoring set pieces. Oh, they got the set piece goals they scored, but they're making it sustainable. We slandered them at first because it wasn't sustainable. But it is sustainable winning games 1-0 and through a set piece because they're not conceding it. It is actually sustainable. And they have players like Eze that can produce a winner in the moment. Saka and fully fit can. Odegaard can. Arsenal have now scored more goals from a set piece alone than an entire tally of 8 teams in the Premier League this season. Villa 9, Newcastle 9, Everton 9, Leeds 9, Fulham 9, West Ham 7, Wolves 7, Nottingham Forest 5. Like, 8 teams. They've scored more set piece goals than 8 teams have scored goals this season. 11 set piece goals. 3 goals conceded in 9 Premier League games. 3 games without a shot conceded. This team is a joke. Declan Rice was a joke today. The amount of ground Declan Rice was covering was ridiculous. Eze scoring a goal, brilliant moment. Gabriel, monstrous. Timber and Gabriel have been 2 best players to me this season. They've been absolutely monstrous. Subamende, good player. I don't like how David Raya kept going long and kicking it long. I don't like that Arsenal's passing wasn't coming together. I don't like how Arsenal played in the first half, but you have to give Crystal Palace credit for that. I don't think Arsenal played their best football in the first half, but you have to give Crystal Palace credit for that. Crystal Palace have beaten the big sides. They've beaten Liverpool twice this season. They're a tough team to beat, Crystal Palace. They're a team that I'm dreading as a Man United fan. But Arsenal won ugly. Arsenal did not play well against Man United first game of the season, but you won 1-0. We're a set piece, mainly because Bendy is rubbish, but you won 1-0. Man United couldn't score. You didn't play very well versus Palace, but you won 1-0. Arsenal used to play these games, used to dominate these games, but couldn't turn that domination into wins. And Arsenal fans used to get annoyed that Liverpool City would have a bad game and they'd still win. Arsenal are winning ugly. That's massive for Arsenal. City, Liverpool, and Chelsea have all dropped points this weekend. 3 teams Arsenal are probably competing with for the title race are 3 teams dropping points. 3 of Arsenal's biggest rivals dropping points. 4 points at the top, 6 ahead of City at this stage already. Look, City always know what to do. They can catch up. Liverpool could get going. But nobody has the defensive security Arsenal has. And I think with Arsenal's defensive security, they're not going to lose games. They might draw games, but I don't think you're going to lose games. And I think that's going to make you almost very difficult to catch at this stage, because I don't see you dropping many points between now and the end of the season. And that's what scares me. Was Arsenal great on the ball today? No. But they've managed the game, they stayed composed, and they found a way, and I thought they came out in the second half the better team. This is the biggest difference about Arsenal this season, is the depth, is the mentality, is their ability to find winners. And that is scary. And that is what title-winning teams do. They grind, they defend, they survive. Gabriel isn't even fully fit, and he's putting in one of the best performances I've ever seen from a centre-back. He's a rock. He dominates both boxes. Every set piece, he's such a threat, but in his own box, he's winning the duels, he's clearing everything, he's scoring the winner, not today, but versus Newcastle. Gabriel is a monster in boxes. He's rumoured to be carrying an injury, and he puts in this performance. He was phenomenal. Gabriel looks like he's going to win everything. The aggression, the leadership, the everything on Gabriel. I think he might be the best centre-back in football right now, Gabriel. I don't know. I think he might be the best centre-back in football right now. I can't think of someone that I look at and think, yeah, you've been better than Gabriel. Do you know what I mean? I can't. I think he's been a lot better than Saliba the last year. And I don't think Saliba's bad. Saliba's a fantastic player, but Gabriel's been a different level. And that was a man-of-the-match performance. I mean, Urian Timber, I don't even talk about Urian Timber. Because every game I watch Urian Timber, he's just really good. Every game I watch Urian Timber, he's really good. That I feel like Urian Timber is becoming really underrated, this player, because this season. And the reason I think Urian Timber is becoming really underrated is because everyone's talking about Gabriel, Saliba, Arsenal's defence. No one's talking about, okay, but look at Timber. Timber has been so good in every game this season, so good last season. Timber has been so consistently good that him putting in an 8 out of 10 performance today, you don't notice it because he does it every week. So also, shout out to Timber. But yeah, defence wins titles. Arsenal have now kept 5 clean sheets in a row in all comps. They've now gone 100 games, and I saw this stat on Twitter, 100 games without conceding 3 goals in a single match, which is something that hasn't been done since Man United in 2017. Timber and Gabriel were immense. Rice was perfect. Raya commanded the box, but I didn't like his long kicks. Arsenal are so well drilled off the ball, and Declan Rice, the amount of ball recoveries he was making, was phenomenal. Arsenal, every time Arsenal have had a lead this season, they haven't lost that lead. There's one thing in football that's so hard to do, and that is when you have a 1-0 lead holding on those last 10 minutes. Arsenal do it every time. Arsenal have not lost from a winning position this season. When Arsenal have the league, they can defend, they can make it effortless, even when they're under immense amount of pressure. Arsenal can do that, and that's such an elite trait to have. Because look, Palace made it uncomfortable at times for Arsenal. Palace did not go and make that an easy game for Arsenal. They didn't. And I got to give credit for Declan Rice in that second half. The amount of ground he was covering, the recoveries, everything he did. His heat map's going to look like he played 11 positions at once. The interceptions, the tackles, the recoveries. Declan Rice covered every blade of grass. The sheer energy from him was insane. His intelligence to read the game, to know where to be. And Crystal Palace's intelligence. Crystal Palace is such an intelligent side, they knew where to be off the ball to frustrate Arsenal. But Declan Rice was ridiculous. And look, I don't think Arsenal were at their best today. There was a lot of long balls. I thought the football Arsenal played the last half an hour was not good football. But they scored the moment they got. They won the game. They defended extremely well. That's what Liverpool have done in their title-winning seasons. That's what City have done in their title-winning season. This is what Arsenal's doing now. This is set to be Arsenal's title-winning season. I do not like that. Palace were strong, they were physical, they were disciplined. Arsenal find a way. You go 1-0 down to Newcastle at St James's Park, you find a way against these low blocks. This is a version of Arsenal just looks mentally stronger than the other version of Arsenal. It's like they know how to win. And at the end of the day, Arsenal are 4 points clear at the top. They're unbeaten in so many games this season. Only Liverpool have beaten them. They're barely conceding any goals. They haven't conceded a home game in the Champions League group stage under Arteta. Even when football isn't flowing, their mentality is there, the confidence is there. It's like they know they're not going to concede. So all they just know they need to score one. It's crazy. Thank you for watching. Bye.